Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the line as he does every Friday on the show, and he just saw the depths of my wrath. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com. It's always right before we start recording, something interesting happens in the radio world, and it's like, so what's up, man?
If that's the depths of your wrath, then I think you need more depth, my friend.
No, it's not. It was mostly for drama there. Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, it's one of those deals. Anyways, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend. It's just one of those. It's kind of a more defeated wrath, if anything.
Yeah.
Where it's just this is the life I lead.
Too.
So, anyways, Mike, we got a lot of movies this weekend. We've got one really big one. That's where I want to start with. Lightyear's out. This is Chris Evans, and I can't remember who else, but it's the kind of origin story of Buzz Lightyear, right?
Right. So the one thing that a lot of people have been sort of forgetting to keep clear, and Pixar's kind of been helping out with this, because not only does the movie have a title card explaining this at the beginning, but now there's like social media posts they put out. In 1995, young Andy saw this movie and wanted a Buzz Lightyear toy because of it. This is the movie that spawned the toy. So it's not like Tim Allen has been replaced. It's just that now we have 3 different versions of Buzz Lightyear. 4 if you count the Spanish version one.
Yeah. Okay.
Because there's Chris Evans, who plays the real Buzz Lightyear in the movie. Tim Allen's the toy, and then Patrick Warburton is in the cartoon Buzz Lightyear: A Star Command. That I probably am one of the only people that remember that.
Was that a TV show or something?
Yes.
Okay.
And you know what? As a kid, it might have been jarring not hearing Tim Allen in that. But then growing up, it's like, wait, we had Patrick Warburton playing Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
We had Croc, and he's like, to infinity and beyond. And it's like, that just blows my mind. But yeah, so this is sort of Buzz Prime, if you will. And basically it's sort of an origin story. And I got to talk to Angus MacLean, the writer, and one of the writers and the director of the film, as well as Gail Suskin, the producer, and like a whole bunch of other people for the film. Like I talked to Chris Evans, James Brolin, Taika Waititi, Keke Palmer, Dale Soules, and just the big thing about this movie you have to remember is this is the thing that kicks it all off. And basically Buzz Lightyear, in his early years as a space ranger, it's not his first years. They almost did it like a full-out origin story.
Okay.
But then, funny enough, they Angus MacLean and Gail Suskin told me in our interview that when they were developing the movie, then CEO Bob Iger was like, well, why can't we start with him in the suit? And then they're like, well, what if we do start with Buzz already as a space ranger? And then that's basically what helped change the opening. But yeah, it's Buzz's origin story with Zurg, played by James Brolin. And he meets a troop of junior space rangers, again, played by Keke Palmer, Taika Waititi, Dale Soules.
Mm-hmm.
And he even has a companion robot named Sox, voiced by Peter Sohn, who's I think he's one of the I forget what his position is at Pixar, but he's one of the people from Pixar that, the company tends to get people from in-house to do voices. He was also Emile, the bigger rat from Ratatouille.
Okay.
But
Alrighty.
Okay, small spiral. Yeah. But so, basically, Buzz Lightyear fighting Zurg for the first time.
How was it?
It is so much fun, man. Like this. All right. So when this was first announced, I was sort of at a crossroads where it's like, I think it's really awesome that they're going to give us a new version of Buzz Lightyear, and it's going to be more serious. But at the same time, it's like, why are we doing this now? Is this going to be like one of those things where they don't take, like, a movie within a movie, something that Chris Evans is very familiar with, because if you remember his character in Scott Pilgrim, they have like those really cheesy action movies that he plays in that movie. So when you think of movie within a movie, you think, oh, this is going to be something that like winks and nods and like pokes fun, like lovingly. No, this is straight up 100%. This is the movie that Andy watched where he wanted that toy. And I can see why he wanted that toy, because if I saw this and Toy Story when I was a kid, forget it. I would have been floored to all heavens. It's a space adventure, and it's got Pixar's emotion built in very organically, because another thing I'd heard before even seeing it, I think it was at CinemaCon in Las Vegas, people saw like the first 30 minutes. And I'm hearing people saying, oh, yeah, I cried during that opening. And I'm like, well, how's Lightyear going to do that? And then when it does happen, it just was like, oh, yeah, I can totally see why that happened. And there is an importance to character, but there's also a lot of action. And it does feel like an earlier Pixar movie where it's not as deep, but that doesn't change the fact that it is just a pure ride. The voice talent is fantastic. It is even more fun in 3D because I got to catch this in 3D last night, and the 3D is some of the best work I have seen. I had already seen this movie, and I was jumping at things I knew were coming.
That's perfect. Mike Reyes from
fun. This is just pure fun.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line to talk about movies. So Lightyear's a good one. What's next on the list?
Well, here is something that is also fun, and you can catch it on Netflix this weekend. Spiderhead, which stars Chris Hemsworth, Miles Teller, Journey Smollett. It's from Joseph Kosinski, the director of Top Gun Maverick and Tron Legacy. So this dude has like 2 movies in the same summer with Miles Teller. But this is based on a short story from The New Yorker, and it's about an experiment. It's a pharmaceutical experiment where Chris Evans' character, Steve, is basically in charge of implementing this experiment. And it's done with prisoners who, in exchange for cushier living conditions and, something that's not the typical prison experience, they are being used as lab rats for pharmaceutical tests.
Oh, weird.
And things may not be what they seem. And the best part about this movie, well, besides the fact that it is just a really neat sort of maze-like thriller where like all this stuff is being all these details are being released, and tone slightly starts to shift and you don't know what's going to happen next. Chris Hemsworth plays a charming sociopath, and it is fantastic. He's got like full American tech bro accent. He's got like the trendy glasses, and he's talking to people like trying not to swear as much and being, the outgoing sort of guy.
Yeah.
And it's so different from him and what he normally does, because it's not just like, the bravado of Thor. Like this guy has some issues going on in the background.
Okay.
You can clearly tell. And then, Miles Teller and Journey Smollett are sort of the emotional component of this movie. Both of them are fantastic as well. I mean, it's on Netflix this weekend. It is a solid watch. I say go in as cold as you possibly can and just enjoy. And if you're a fan of yacht rock, you're going to love this soundtrack.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com. All right, one more movie. What else did you see this week? Because there was a bunch out this week, right?
Oh, yeah. Movies we will not be going into, but are currently being released mostly on... We got a lot of streaming this weekend because HBO Max has the Andy Garcia, Gloria Estefan, Father of the Bride remake.
Okay.
Hulu has Good Luck to You, Leo Grand, which has Emma Thompson as a widow, hiring a sex worker to sort of reinvigorate her life after her husband's passing.
Okay.
Jerry and Marge Go Large is on Paramount Plus, and that's based on a true story about a lottery or like a lottery scam, and it stars Bryan Cranston and Annette Bening. And then Cha Cha Real Smooth is on Apple TV Plus, which I don't know too much about it, but I have heard raves about it.
All righty.
So the last film that I did see this weekend was, it's an indie film that I think it'll be unlimited, if not full release. It's in theaters though. Brian and Charles. And it's this English comedy that heavily reminds me of Wallace and Gromit. It's like a mockumentary where we're following this man who built himself a robot. And it is one of the most awkward looking robots because it's just supposed to be looking awkward because he builds the thing out of scraps.
Yeah.
And then the movie is just basically this man bonding with his robot, and it's almost like a father-son sort of thing. It's not like, most people build robot companions. They're like friends or there's someone they date.
Yeah.
But this is like an allegory for parenthood. And just the robot, will throw tantrums and be snippy. And like, it has this really cool sort of like voice to text where it's like, it speaks like this and it does this and that.
It sounds sort of like that. What was the Tom Hanks one that just came out?
Finch?
Yeah.
You know what? I would put it on a similar level to Finch. because it really does dig into the humanity bleh. I know words, I swear.
I know. I
It digs into
completely
the humanity
understand.
of the story.
Okay.
And then also just the development of the robot's personality is so organic but so impressive. Like, that's another thing that impressed me with Lightyear is the fact that they have this Sox is a very witty character that if you did that the wrong way, he'd just be a catchphrase.
Okay.
And he'd just be like a sidekick for the fun of it. But both those movies have really interesting depictions of AI and robotics. And yeah, I'll highly suggest Brian and Charles because it's very comfortable. It's a very cozy sort of movie. Obviously it does have a bit of conflict to it, but it's not like some other movies where it's like a very big conflict with a capital C.
Yeah, I get you. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line. All right, over in the world of movie news, staying with Tom Hanks. Did you see the video of him this week?
No, but I heard what happened. And yeah, so basically people were crowding Tom Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson. And someone almost knocked her over, if I remembering the story correctly. And he told them to back the F up.
It was great. I've got the video at the website, and it's fantastic.
I have to watch it. And honestly, Tom Hanks is one of those people where he drops an F-bomb, and people are simultaneously surprised, but they're not offended or batting an eye. Because the last time I remember hearing him do that was he was on a morning show talking about Cloud Atlas.
Yeah.
And he has like this British gangster character. You remember he had that British gangster character, and he drops an F-bomb on live TV, and they're surprised. But at the same time, it's like, oh, wow, that's Tom Hanks just swore. It's like, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed, or I'm surprised.
It was one of those things where everybody stopped and listened. Like when the right person says the right thing, everybody stopped and listened. They're like, oh, we went too far. You could immediately hear the people around him. Oh, sorry, Tom. Sorry. Oh, we're sorry about this. It was awesome.
Yeah, exactly, because you and I drop an F-bomb, no one bats an eye. They figure it from us. They figure that's standard operating procedure. But when someone like Tom Hanks does it, who you don't really know him for that. Like, a lot of people like to call him America's dad. Like, that's when it's like, okay, I'm clearly being grounded right now. I'm going to apologize, and I'm going to go over here.
Yep. Exactly. So, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com. It's a great video. If you get a chance, watch it. Otherwise, was there any other big news from this week?
You know what? I'm really trying to think.
I'm struggling too.
There had to have been all right. Do you want something more fun or do you want something more serious?
Dealer's choice.
Which one first? Well, I was thinking about talking about one story that I heard, but you know what? It's the weekend, and I'd rather just brighten everyone's spirits here. Have you seen that Ryan Gosling photo from the new Barbie movie?
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, it's wonderful, but I don't know why.
It's wonderful because this is nailing the aesthetic of what Greta Gerwig's trying to do with this movie. So, long and the short of it, there's been a Barbie movie in development for a couple years now. Anne Hathaway and Amy Schumer were previously going to star in it. And then it basically landed in the hands of Greta Gerwig, writer-director who's been known for films like Lady Bird, Little Women, both of which are fantastic, and I highly recommend them. So now she's doing this Barbie movie for Warner Brothers with Margot Robbie playing Barbie. And from what I understand, I think it's going to be a mix of like doll reality and then crossing over into the real world. I'm not terribly certain. But back at CinemaCon, we got our first look of Margot Robbie driving a pink convertible, and it's like, yeah, that is definitely Barbie aesthetic. And then this week we got Ryan Gosling in full 90s boy band mode, wearing a denim vest, no shirt, and Calvin Klein-esque underwear that's branded with the name Ken.
It's awesome.
And okay, so first of all, the dude's pretty much always in top shape, except for when he goes method. Quick sidetrack. Did you ever hear the story about how he was cast for The Lovely Bones and then got fired?
No, I didn't.
He was cast to play the dad in the adaptation of The Lovely Bones. He gains like 60 pounds and then gets fired because that wasn't the direction they wanted to go. And they cast Mark Wahlberg instead. But he like gained all this weight to do that. And I'm sure after that, he was like, never again, not if I don't have to.
Yeah.
Dude's ripped. He's got the abs. It reminds me of that scene in Crazy Stupid Love where Emma Stone's looking at his chest and she's like, are you photoshopped? Like, it's just pure, it nails the tone because he's got this, like, sly grin on his face, and he just looks like a doll.
The only thing it's missing is some sort of boy band music, like, playing with it. Or, you remember that, you remember LFO? They did that song, I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch. Da, 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 da. It, like, needs something like that in the background, and it's perfect.
Well, one thing that people should not be expecting, at least from what I've heard, is to hear Aqua's Barbie Girl in there, because they flat out said they're not using the song in the movie. And I think what the reason people have sort of agreed on, even though there's been no official word to this, is that since Mattel has always had like a touchy relationship with that song and how it, like, the lyrics and how it treats Barbie, the property, they want nothing to do with that.
No, I get it.
But you know, I mean, if they were okay with it, that'd be perfect. That would be like some version of that for him to go sing on stage with like those like headset mics like NSYNC had during the Grammys or Christopher Cross. Like, just there's a lot of potential for this, and I hope at the very least he is in a boy band with like some really fun song made up for the occasion.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line. All right, so I'm trying to think of which way I want to go with this. Real quick, just a goofy note. Have you picked up on Orville, the new season on Hulu?
Not yet, but I need to because I have missed that show so much.
It is not the same show.
So I've heard it's gotten darker.
It's very dark and there's no humor in it. Like, I'm 3 episodes in or whatever, and I'm kind of like, do I have to watch this?
Now I'm even more excited to watch it.
It's not.
I mean, things were kind of heading that way.
Yeah, it was, but it was one of the, I don't know, man. I've just, since you haven't seen it, I don't want to talk about it too much, but that's been sticking on my mind. Have you been following Strange New Worlds?
No, I need to renew my Paramount Plus.
Okay. Can I give you a little bit of a spoiler because there is kind of an interesting take on what Star Trek would do in regards to a TV show and a movie?
Okay.
So you know the premise behind Star Trek, right? Or Strange New Worlds, right?
Yeah, this is Pike's mission before the Enterprise that we know with Kirk, but after Star Trek Discovery.
Yep. You know what interesting choice of a movie character they reintroduced last night?
Who?
Think of all the Star Trek. Okay, I'll give you the first 6.
They didn't do Khan, did they?
No.
Okay, the first 6. I know a lot of people wanted V'ger to come back, but I don't think they brought V'ger back. Did they bring V'ger back?
No.
Okay.
I'll give you. You're gonna give up?
Cybok?
Cybok.
What?
Yes.
Oh, please tell me they do something good with it.
I think they're setting him up as a villain of some sort. The new episode this week, they were trying to do a prisoner exchange, Spock for somebody else, and at one point he gets enough information where he's like, no, we cannot let this happen. And this is the really spoilery, quick version of this, but at the very end of the episode, they show who they're talking about, and someone says Cybok.
Now, see, that is what you do with a legacy like Star Trek. That is the sort of thing. You do not bring back Khan as Benedict Cumberbatch. As much fun as I had with Into Darkness, I would have liked it better if they had done something like bring Cybok back, bring a character, bring what was it, the Sona from Insurrection?
Yeah.
Like, bring back people from the lesser known, lesser loved installments and work with that, because you got Khan right. Besides the ethnically incorrect casting, you got Khan right the first time. You don't need to do it again.
We've had that conversation where that movie Into Darkness could have been really cool if it was just Section 31. They didn't need Khan.
Yeah.
You didn't need that.
You know what? I like that movie, but it does that was the glaring issue in the room.
It was funny. My buddy was telling me, he wrote me and he goes, have you watched the new Star Trek yet? And I said, no. And he goes, just remember, I need my pain. And I'm like, what? So I'm watching this whole episode, and all of a sudden at the end, it's like, what? I'm like, that's a bull. Here, this was our conversation. I'll watch it. I sent that at 8:16. At 10:30, I wrote, Cybok? That's a bold fucking choice.
cool is it that we're back to a point where we can say, did you watch the new Star Trek this week?
It's, you know what? I'll tell you this much right now. Strange New Worlds is the best Star Trek to come out in a while. It's the only one that actually.
Strange New World is fantastic.
It's the only one that feels like an actual Star Trek show. It's not trying to be something it's not. Captain Pike is probably one of the best. He's great. He's wonderful.
Good enough that we're going to start having to go on.
Oh, good enough to see if we're going to say he's one of the best captains.
Well, I was going to say good enough if we have to start changing the eternal debate to now Pike versus Kirk versus Picard. Versus Janeway.
Versus Cisco.
Versus Cisco.
Cisco's still probably maybe my favorite. I don't know, but he's up there.
Look at the bench you've got, and
like I'll put it to
Cisco. I was going to say go on. You were talking about Cisco.
No, I was just going to say Pike is just he's inviting. He's funny. He likes his crew. They like him. It's very different. Like he does an impersonation of a pirate in last night's episode at one point. It was very funny. He did it in like a dad joke kind of way, and everybody was like, "Just stop, please stop."
Just look at the bench you have in terms of Star Trek captains.
Yeah,
like, that is just really amazing.
On the other side of it, have you caught up with Obi-Wan yet?
No, I am still 2 episodes down, but I have heard. Well, I've been busy, man.
I guess
covering Lightyear. I got Jurassic World stuff. And not to mention that's one of the shows that my wife and I all watch together.
Yeah,
which I was kind of surprised because I didn't think she wanted to.
Yeah,
because she had no interest in Book of Boba Fett, and that's why I still haven't watched it. Because it's like, okay, then I'll fit time in for myself to watch that at some point. But like, when do I have that?
Well, I hope you watch it soon because this week's episode was really. I did same friend I was talking to about Strange New Worlds. He was like, I go, have you watched Obi-Wan? He goes, no. He goes between The Boys, Star Trek, Orville.
That's another one I need to catch up on.
I don't have Amazon Prime, so I need to get it so I can watch. So.
Oh, The Boys is so good.
Yeah, I've seen enough that I'm like, yeah, I could watch that. So, anyways, all right.
Carl Urban alone.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the show right now. We'll wrap it up there for the week. Mike, thank you for the time, and you have a great weekend.
You as well.